Okay, welcome. Hi. Let me just check this here. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, um, uh, tomorrow is the spring equinox. So there's hope. Tell that to my daffodils, right? Uh, so uh, just so that you know, a lot of these, well, the Qigong practices traditionally have been linked um, to nature in all its forms. So mountains, rivers, trees, animals are all fundamental to it. The other thing that's fundamental is um, time of day and season. So that, and this is really esoteric, and I don't know it, but there are certain moves you do, certain practices you do in the winter, and some that you do in the summer and spring, and different phases of the moon, and then different astrological signs, and it gets extremely complicated for my little brain. So, but I will say that tomorrow's the first day of spring. So we're going to do today this whole series of movements that's called Return to Spring. And you'll recognize some of the movements that appear also in other series that we do. But just so you understand, so return to spring. So we're returning to spring, meaning it's come round again. But even more so, it's spring is equated with birth or youthfulness, uh, the chi of the earth rising. So this is all implied in those three words: return to spring. So we're returning to youthfulness, the freshness, youthful energy. And so this is healing energy that we're bringing into the body and refreshing the organs and so on, with this spring-like energy. Okay, and it's the same thing with morning dew, washing the body with rainbow dew. It's a similar thing with rainbow light. Rainbow light is healing light, and where this is more like youthfulness. But for a lot of the practitioners of Qigong over the thousands of years, they were practicing for many different reasons. But one of the main reasons was to actually increase their longevity. And this is how we know that it was practiced by the elites, by the literati, the people who didn't have to work, because most of the peasants living in what is now China really weren't interested in longevity. Life was just too hard. So they didn't want it to keep going on. Right? But the people practicing Qigong did. And what they stated was that it's not just that they wanted to live a long time and put off dying. It's that they honored the aged. The wisdom and age were revered. And the longer you could stay alive, the wiser you were becoming, and the more you were able to do your spiritual practice. That was the reason to live long, so that you could really develop your spiritual practice. So to this day, a lot of these practices are taught specifically for longevity. And if you talk to some of the people like Ken Cohen, who studied with the old masters who are now all gone, there's lore, and you can take this for what it's worth, but there's lore that people were living to 150, 120, 150, and even people the masters who could leave their bodies, and the bodies would just lie still. And every so often they would come back, and somebody who was attending them would give them some water, I don't know, a little food or whatever, and then they disappear again. So this is all part of the lore uh, of Qigong. And Ken Cohen believes it. And I believe Ken Cohen. So, there probably was something to it. But I don't think we're aiming for immortality. They felt that if you really perfected these, you would be an immortal. And that didn't mean that your body never died. It meant that your spirit never died. So, but in my humble opinion, we're already there. So, we don't have to worry about, about it. So we'll be doing return to spring. And at the end, we'll practice a little standing meditation. And before we go into our final sitting meditation. Okay. Any questions about any of that? Comments? Bird news? No. I'm looking at you, Todd. No, no big bird news. Okay. All right. Keep the feeders full though, right? Okay. All right. So we're already recording, and here's for the people on YouTube. So our intention is to practice return to spring, which would mean that we initially want to focus with the out breath and going down, because the energy of spring, it rises. Okay, the energy of fall, of autumn, descends. The energy of spring rises. Okay, just like sap in the tree. So with the out breath, we want to sort of relax and um, uh, move our attention down. And then with the in breath, we're sort of pulling this up, sort of just gently. Okay. Okay, and let's loosen up. Okay, so as we work our way down, so we know we're going to go here next. So we're going to extend our hands, and that's going to pull us forward. When we do this, we of course our weight shifts forward. So knowing that that's going to happen, we're going to sort of sit down a little first, and maybe bend the knees, sit down. And then as we come up, we're already compensating for the hands being in front of the body, because we're sitting down a little bit more. Okay. And then before we open, before we expand, we're going to sink. And then, so begin with the in breath and then the out breath as you go down. That's natural. But some of our attention is at the bottoms of the feet. And we want to keep the feet completely flat so that we're not leaning forward onto the balls of our feet, but our feet are remaining flat. And then you remember last time the reverse breathing. So if you want to, you can reverse the natural breathing here. So the open, that would be the out breath, and the closing, that would be the in breath. And one of the next steps for the reverse breathing is just to let go of whether you're breathing in or out with the movement. And then as you do the movement, as you bring the hands in, imagine bringing them out. And then as you bring them out, imagine bringing them in. So we're actually sort of breathing in and out at the same time. We're just balancing yin and yang. We're doing one with the physical body, and we're doing the other by visualizing and feeling. So there's sort of a second body here. There's the physical body doing this movement, and then there's this energy body that's doing the opposite movement. It's kind of comical. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. And then loosening the pelvis. Well, I actually injured my back last week, Thursday, I think. And through these practices, I was able to, and doing some stretching, I was able to get through it, and it realigned. Okay. And then the balance. So these were taught to me by a gentleman named Master Li many years ago, who developed Wuji Wonggong, which is a whole series of Qigong movements. And I can't explain why they're in the order they're in. He probably could, but that's how they are. So there's 11 movements. Okay, so these first two you already know. So boat rowing in the stream of air. So hands go behind the body. Okay, the natural breathing is as you compress the belly, the air goes out. And as you stand up, it comes in. Okay, you've all practiced a lot. So this is why I want to keep mentioning the reverse breathing. So just try reversing the breath now. So as you compress, you inhale. As you stand up, you exhale. And when you've kind of got that, then you can go back to the natural. Okay. Let's reduce the movement. Okay, so that's front to back. And next one is side to side. And he calls this traveling eastward across the ocean, although it's similar to turning the body to look at the moon. And so it's not as big a movement, though. This might be called to gathering chi from the sides. So you're sort of gathering and bringing it to the center, and then gathering from the other side. And you want to look at the hands. Okay, so the first one was about the lower dantian, and this is more about the middle dantian. We're kind of bringing the hands up to the level of the heart. And then front and back, that's sort of vertical. That side to side is, all around. So this is sort of moving up. See if you can swing your body from your hips just by turning and shifting the weight so that it's not a much of an effort to lift the arms. They're kind of being flung out there. Okay, let's reduce the movement. And just drop into the standing where the palms are facing each other. Yeah, good. And the next one is it's a movement and then a posture. And we'll do it 3 times. And I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see how he taught us to do it. So it's called moving Qi to the upper dantian. So if we start down here with the hands, they're at the lower dantian. Okay, and we dip the knees and we bring them up to the middle dantian into the prayer position, either touching or not touching. Okay. And then we continue up and we place the between the thumbs, we place that directly on the third eye and we bend way back so that it's pointing straight up. And the visualization is the light of the universe coming down through the into the area between the palms into the forehead, and then with the in-breath down and filling the body. That's this position. So we hold this position, and that's what we're visualizing. Okay, but let's go back down now. But as we begin, there's a rising. Okay, so moving Qi to the upper dantian. So now here, okay, it's rising up from the earth up to the level of the heart, and then it continues rising, 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 till we get up here, and then it goes out and up, and then we bring down the light of the stars. And then just arch your back as much as is comfortable. The way we were taught was that your forehead's pointing up. Okay, and you gotta maintain your balance too. Okay. All right, and let's go back down. So he would have us hold that about 10 seconds. Okay, so raising Qi to the head, raising to the dantian case. So ready? So we're going to sit down. Here it comes up the body to the heart, and continues up, and we're bending back, continues all the way up and out. Okay, and then with the in breath, we're breathing in, out breath, then down. Okay, let's go back down. So sink the knees a little bit And now we're going back down. And back to standing. So that's one. So we'll do two more. And again, this is a movement and the posture. Both are equally important. Okay, so here we go. So bringing the attention up, 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 up. All the way up, out. And now down. Okay, and let's go back down. And just take a second and rebalance. Okay, last one. So in breath, we're bringing it up. Out breath. In breath. Okay, and then back to standing. Okay, so these first three movements, we've brought up the energy of spring, the rising, to the lower, to the middle, to the upper, to out. So we've completed that. And then he said we may have too much chi. So the next one is expelling. This is a very unusual breathing pattern, but this is how it was taught. So we're going to start like this in the push position, at the beginning of the push position, and we're going to push. And as we do so, we're going to expel through the mouth. So in breath. Okay, but that's not enough. So we're going to do it until we expel our breath, but don't faint. Okay, so he would say, so you come up, okay, and you get ready, in breath, then a big out breath as you expel. We typically only do that once, unless you really have something to expel, which you might. So, but the way that's taught is that you just do that once, and so you're just releasing through the hands. You're through the laogons here. You're releasing from the heart out the arms, and with your breath. Okay. And an abbreviated version of that is just that little out breath and that little movement can change the mood from being stuck in round and round and round or emotion to just releasing and then back. And so it's balancing yin and yang. This is why I'm encouraging you to focus somewhat on the reverse breathing so you can actively balance yin and yang. That's really the path, is not get too far over here, not get too far over here. And when we feel like this, then we're going to balance. We're going to balance. We're going to stay centered. Um, Next one, see, we've done this too. This is gazing at the moon. And this is just a posture. Okay. So it starts out with a little sort of wind up here. So we wind up and then see my hand. So the one hand is above the head, up like this. The other one is, so you're standing for, the other one's out to the side. You're looking to the left or the right, whichever, but you're looking between the index finger and the thumb. And the moon, full moon is there. Okay. And this other one is making a cycle. So it's bringing in the light of the full moon and then bringing it down to the crown of the head. Okay. So that's it. It's just a posture. Okay. So we're just going to form the posture. So sit down a little bit. Now you can close your eyes if you're standing in a room, if you want, and imagine the moon is there. Or if you're out, if you can go outdoors and do this, that's really what it's linked to. And just breathe. And then the visualization is the light of the moon coming into the head and then being contained there with the other hand, filling the brain with light, and then breathing out and going down. So this is just a meditation posture. Okay, and then the other way. So okay. This particular teacher Lee, was very oriented towards spiritual Qigong. Maybe you're getting that sense of it. The next one is even higher up. And we've done this one too. It's called twirling moonlight above the head. So we're just going to raise the hands above the head and then turn and turn. And so this is the sky cone. We've done this, so it's not quite as wide, but twirling the moonlight above the head. So imagine that the moonlight is in your hands, and this is outside the body. Okay. Sort of go up. With your breath, of course. You can imagine your body is extremely tall and your hands are way up beyond the sky. Okay. Yes, a couple more. Right. The next one is very traditional. It's called Old Man Strokes His Beard, but we'll just call it stroking the center. So starting with the right hand. So it's just, and then we turn slightly in the direction of the hand that's going up. This is kind of combing the energy of the body, stroking the energy field of the body. This can be fairly energetic if you like, so you can sink down. I have to think that all that vertical energy that we were doing, this is now bringing it down again. Okay, let's just do a couple more. Okay, this next one always reminded me of the old baseball umpires, so indicating safe. And so that's what this is bringing up and doing this, safe. Okay, and then turning. This is a very sort of carefree, just enjoy. Just do a couple more. Okay, there's some forms of Qigong that he taught that actually were fast. And there's other teachers that will do that too. Mostly what I've been taught and what I practice has been fairly slow to medium. But this one is poetically named Lotus Flower Goes Through the Mountain. Okay, so this is the lotus flower. Okay, and the body's the mountain. So we're going to like this and back. So focus, point the hands toward the body, sit down. That's it. And so let the sitting down drive the hands. As you sink down, the hands go down. And then he encouraged you, if you want to do this quickly, vigorously. but not necessarily. it's it's fine to do it very slowly. So this is a variation of that old man's beard stroking the center, but it's using both hands at once. Okay, let's just reduce some movements. Okay. Okay. Second to the last movement is simply to bring the hands to the lower dantian. And then point inward with the first couple of fingers. Point to the body. And just breathing naturally. Okay. A couple more breaths. Okay. And then the final movement is the flying crane. So however you want to do this, however big or small or fast or slow, internal, external, but this is the completion of return to spring. I like to think of it as the cranes coming back in March. Maybe you've seen some. And reduce the movements. And let's just complete just going into a standing meditation. Just pull the shoulders back just a touch. Drop the chin a little bit. And just feel, particularly feel the chi. So the tingling, wherever you feel that, and of course the warmth. And then we can just scan the body from the bottom up, and just notice if your muscles are tense anywhere as you go up, and if they are, just move a little bit, or just say relax, or breathe through them. Just as you move up, just gently relax the muscles in the body. And check if you're aligned. Okay, and now with reverse breathing, we have the body breathing, and then we have the imagination. So as the body breathes in, we can imagine light radiating out. And as the body breathes out, we can imagine light rushing in. So the physical body is doing one thing, and the attention, the mind, is doing the opposite. When you relax into this, then you're committed to breathing in and breathing out at the same time equally. So if this seems a little awkward or unnatural, um, sort of just trust this practice, and try it for a little while. And I promise it will become easy. Okay, a few more breaths and go ahead and take our seat. Now, you may be breathing a little hard because of all the movement. And just remember that the description of the meditative breathing is the breath is long, slow, even, and fine, and the mind is tranquil. When we're sitting still, we don't need a lot of heavy breathing. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. And then just loosen up as you need to. So we've returned to spring. So let's go ahead and clap one time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for your practice. And if you want to stay for a conversation, that would be great. And if you don't, I won't be offended.
Thank you.
Okay, so adjust this view.